The major problem faced by the British merchant fleet, which was three times the size of the American in 1941, was the shipping tonnage under repair at any one time, an average of 3.1 million tons every month between 1941 and March 1943, when the German submarine threat subsided. Much of the shipping was repaired in American dockyards under Lend Lease, but the schedule of repair continued to fall behind the requirement for cargo space. Only in 1943, when American merchant shipbuilding produced a remarkable 12.3 million tons of new shipping, was it possible for Roosevelt to promise that enough American ships would be diverted to British needs to ensure the flow of military aid and food. By summer 1943, there was more cargo space available than cargo to fill it. Even more demanding was the delivery of supplies to the Soviet Union, which took away both British and American shipping from the supply routes across the Atlantic. All three of the principal routes, the Arctic Sea Route, the Persian Corridor, and the Alaska Siberia Passage, posed severe logistical challenges. The most dangerous route consisted of convoys across the Arctic seas to the northern Soviet ports of Murmansk and Archangel. Here the ships had to cope not only with atrocious weather and rough seas, the threat of onboard icing severe enough to topple a ship, and the occasional ice floe and iceberg, but also with the persistent threat of German submarines, aircraft, and surface vessels based in Norway. Under these harsh circumstances, losses were lower than might have been expected. Out of 848 sailings in 42 convoys on the Arctic route from ports in Scotland and Iceland, a total of 65 ships were lost to accident, submarine, and aircraft. A further 40 were lost on the return route. The most notorious was the loss in June 1942 of 24 out of 36 ships of convoy PQ-17 when it scattered to avoid the possible threat from German warships. The disaster led to the postponement of Arctic convoys for several months across the summer of 1942, much to the anger of Soviet leaders. Better convoy protection from 1943 led to fewer casualties, and ships continued to ply the route until the last wartime convoy from the Clyde in Scotland in April 1945. Some 4 million tons of supplies, 22.6% of aid to the Soviet Union, was sent via the Arctic route.